Hello friends, Mark Barta, and this is your weekly insight into the queermosphere. I hope everyone had a great weekend and is ready and pumped for that next week to come because you know what? It's Sunday. We've already started it. Do me a favor, if you like what you see, let me know in the comments, and if you don't like what you see, well, turn me off and head to church, girl. There you go, there's your option. This week, Pose star MJ Rodriguez is named the first transgendered person to be nominated for a lead acting award at the Emmy Awards. Lindsey Graham swears he will save Chick-fil-A from a group of college Catholic students. And California Republicans wanted to honor Nancy Reagan, but one by Democrat wasn't having any of it. Go get yourself a refill and come back because we're about to get started. MJ Rodriguez has been nominated for an Emmy for her work in the FX series Pose, making her the very first transgendered person to be nominated in the leading acting category for the Emmys. Those of you who have been living under a rock for the last couple of years and don't know about Pose, it's a series about the 1980s and 1990s New York City ballroom scene. And MJ plays Blanca Evangelista. Her exclusion from last year's Emmys nominations did not go unnoticed, so it is a very big deal that she is nominated this year. She says that she loves singing and acting and had a good education in the arts growing up, but when she tried to make a career out of it, she felt she was systematically placed in a box. She stated, quote, "It wasn't until my big breakthrough being cast in Pose that pieces of that box began to fall. I realized I was breaking barriers and as a leading actress of a hit show, telling stories that have never been told to mainstream audiences." Well, we will be watching September 19th to see if history is made by giving MJ the Emmy. Best of luck, you definitely deserve it. Well, Lindsey Graham is going apeshit over Chick-fil-A. Senator Lindsey Graham is throwing a fit after the University of Notre Dame students created a petition to keep the fast food chain out of their cafeterias. Students and faculty have objected to the history of the food chain's homophobia and their lack of healthy options for their meals. The group says the chain doesn't offer sufficient healthier options for vegetarians or vegans. Lindsey Graham wasn't having any of it, stating, "I want everyone in South Carolina and across America to know I have Chick-fil-A's back." Chick-fil-A has become ever popular with Christian conservatives ever since it faced criticism back in 2012 for its donations to extreme anti-LGBTQ organizations. Evangelicals have flocked to the restaurant to show their support for its conservative values, so any criticism of the fast food chain can be perceived as an attack on conservative Christians themselves. It's not shocking that Senator Graham would take such a stance, as he has received a 0 from HRC's latest congressional scorecard because of his stance opposing LGBTQ equality. He has consistently earned low scores from the LGBTQ organization, and let us not forget his stance on marriage equality, a bill that he voted against that would allow same-sex couples in DC to adopt, and even compared marriage equality to polygamy. Well, I have one thing to say to Lindsey Graham. It'd be a shame if you choked on a chicken sandwich, Annie. A bi Republican in California was not having it when a measure was introduced which wanted to honor Nancy Reagan for an entire year. Assemblyman Alex Lee, an out bisexual, was not on board with the measure and gave a blistering speech before his colleagues to let them know exactly why. He said, "Republicans want to honor an entire year of Nancy Reagan. Completely absurd to praise someone who escalated the war on drugs and let the AIDS crisis ravage the LGBTQ plus community. Reagans deserve no commemoration." I couldn't agree more. Let us not forget the Reagans and the consequences of their actions, things like advocating against the Equal Rights Amendment and the detrimental role that she and President Ronald Reagan played in the AIDS crisis that ravaged the community in the 80s. The Reagans were an absolutely disgusting administration, and I can't think of another administration worse rather than Trump's. And of course we are bitter at Reagan's administration because of his slow response to the AIDS epidemic. The disease surfaced in 1981, and President Reagan did not make his first speech acknowledging the disease until 1987. By that time, it had killed over 20,000 Americans. Oh, and did I forget to mention he ruined the economy, making it impossible for the middle class, ensuring the poor stay poor, and making the rich stay rich. Trickle down my ass. That's what happens when you elect a president who has little to no political background whatsoever. And obviously we don't learn from our mistakes because we did exactly the same thing when we elected Trump. And how did that work out? I mean, that's about as smart as having brain surgery done with the cable guy. I could go all day about Ronald and Nancy, but I'll stop here and end it with this. Well, it's that time of the week because we are who we are because of the history we created. So let's check out what history has brought us this last week. Well, in 1984, Boston Mayor Ray Flynn approves a gay rights ordinance that prohibits job and credit discrimination against lesbians and gay men. Also in 1984, Brothers, the first American television show with an openly gay lead character, premieres on Showtime, and it runs for 5 seasons. And in 2011, California Governor Jerry Brown signed the Fair, Accurate, Inclusive, and Respectful Education Act, which mandates that the education material in California schools include information on the contributions of LGBTQ people to California and United States history, and prohibits discriminatory material and lessons, adding sexual orientation to existing laws that prohibit discrimination in education. Well, that's it for me this Sunday. Please come back and join me next Sunday. I hope everyone has a great and wonderful week. Do me a favor, if you've yet to subscribe, follow, or like my channel, please do so you get my weekly videos in your feed. Check out lgbtqnation.com. If you see an article that you think I should mention in one of my videos, please let me know in a comment or DM me. And as always, be nice, but if they be pushing those buttons and one happens to get stuck, burn the bitch good. All right, everyone, see you next Sunday.